Rev up your engines. Okay, is it possible to get an F-250 that actually runs decently for a couple $1,000s used? Now, yeah, it's gonna have a few dings, bent parts. Yeah, the paint's not gonna be perfect. Still pretty solid. And a big serious bumper. Nice big bed. Has dual gas tanks. Now you can get a brand new one of these with this Redding body for 58,000 bucks. They're still making these things. And yeah, this is an old truck. It's a 1996. Crank her up. You can hear that V8. Of course, it's a V8 engine, but it's a 5.8 liter 351 Windsor, made in Windsor, Ontario. They are excellent engines. Back in the day, everybody wanted these engines to put in their Mustangs to soup up. The 351 Windsor has a place in history, and it can last forever. And yes, they are incredible gas hogs. What do you expect? You got a big old F-250 work truck, you're carrying tools, you're not going to get gas mileage. This is a serious, giant work truck. You want to get big gas mileage? Go buy a new one. It's still not going to get the great gas mileage either. They're big, heavy trucks. Turn the key on, and baby's got 269,789 miles. Closing in on 300,000 miles. Sure, the seat's got holes down to the foam. The dash is cracked. It only has crank windows, but they still crank. Has the cool vents though, like I grew up with as a kid. But now comes the big question, does the AC still work? Well, let's turn it on. Man, it's freezing cold. The compressor. It's spinning, and more importantly, it's not making any odd AC compressor noises. It's still in really good shape. Now the engine, you can hear it's got a couple exhaust leaks. You're gonna expect this on a truck. A lot of guys won't even fix them. When they say heavy duty, they mean it. Hey, it took this giant bash and it's still rolling down the road. It just looks like it's making kind of a grimace. And as we go underneath, so high you don't need a jack on this baby, you got surface rust on the frame. Frame is still rock solid. And sure, the exhaust system after the catalytic converter is now completely gone. You can hook the muffler that fell off back on if you want. Be a gas hog, but here's gas tank number 1. And as we go to the back, here's gas tank number 2. And again, you see superficial rust, but the metal's still solid as can be. They used to build them like rock. To me, it looks like it's still the original differential, and it works perfectly fine. There's no noise from the pinion gears inside. The bearings are fine, no humming. These things were solid built back in 1997. These beefy leaf springs that are still in good shape, although they have superficial rust. This thing's still set up to carry a lot of weight. Old as this thing is, it still has the original double-walled exhaust coming off the engine. Look how they built them. This thing hasn't rusted. It's still solid after all those years. Gigantic disc brakes in the front. This is just rear wheel drive. The front wheels just roll down the road. It's not 4x4. Now, I did notice when driving it, it shifts a little bit odd. Now, with this mileage, truthfully, that's generally the lifespan of the transmissions in these things. It goes, but getting a little bit funky. So I'm going to try a trick I've tried for years. Now I can tell the fluid's just been changed because it's got a new gasket in the bottom and the fluid's clean. But I'm going to try an old trick. My little vacuum pump's handy. I just stick it in and suck a quart out. Down in the transmission check tube at the bottom. Now I'll pull a little bottom out. We'll suck a quart of fluid out. Wasn't in deep enough. Here we go. Here it comes. You can see the fluid's flowing in now. We'll pump out about a quart. Okay, we pumped out as much as we needed to. Now, we're going to put in a Lucas stop slip. This stuff is often amazing for American vehicles. We'll just take our pump hose out. You knew it was going to squirt me in the face, right? Stick a funnel in, pour the whole bottle in. Now this stuff is really thick. It's sealed so it doesn't go bad. You gotta rip the seal off, which of course doesn't want to come off. That's always how it goes. Too sealed. There we go. Finally. Now we just pour the whole bottle in. This stuff is thick, so it can take some time to pour the whole bottle in. It's often better to let it run as you add it, and it'll go in faster. And if you run out of patience, you can heat this up in a pan of boiling water. It'll get thinner and pour faster. That's what I do in the winter. This is going slow enough, but eventually the bottle's empty. We'll take it for a spin. There we go. The seatbelts still work. Does the horn blow? Amazing. Not the typical Ford. You can hear the power steering groan. They all groan on these. There it goes groaning away. An old truck, it has a lot of rattles, but it still goes down the road. Take it out in the country here a little. Give it a little gas. There goes that Windsor. Go Doesn't shift all that bad. Mind you, the front end needs some work. It pulls to the left, and the tires are all just junk. They dry rotted, they're worn unevenly. I'd start with new tires and an alignment and see where that goes. But the engine and tranny are still good. They may be out, but it still rumbles down the road. And I do have to say, I'm absolutely amazed how much smoother it shifts once I put that Lucas stop slip in. A lot of times you gotta wait till 250 to 300 miles of driving, but this one, sheesh, I put it in, it's not slipping anymore. Yeah, it makes a lot of rattling noise because the front tires are worn out, but it's running a nice temperature, not getting hot, and yeah, the check engine light's on. Half of that's because part of the exhaust system isn't even there anymore, but it still runs good. Now sure, the turn signals don't work anymore, and the muffler fell off and it's in the bag, but it's a clean break, and you can see somebody already welded one piece on. You can always weld another one on. But heck, the AC still works. It's still a pretty darn good old work truck that you could put a little time and energy in and have a really reliable truck. So don't poo-poo and all the F-250 heavy duty. They still might have a lot of life left to give. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, here we go again with Stellantis. Over 150,000 cars are being recalled for fire risk in the United States. And get this, Stellantis has not detailed exactly what the problem is, other than they're starting on fire even when they're turned off. These are Jeep Wranglers 4xe, Jeep Grand Cherokee. They've had 13 fires so far. So here's what Stellantis is telling you to do with them. 1, don't park it near structures or other vehicles because it can damage everything else. 2, avoid charging the battery to the maximum. It might start a fire. They're starting a fire and they don't even know how to fix them. What kind of a company is this? No wonder their sales are down so low. Their engineers don't even know how to build them right, and then they don't know how to fix them when they're starting on fire. They say, well, don't park it near anything. It might start on fire even when it's turned off. What rolling piles of garbage. 150,000 of them they got to recall, but they don't even know how to fix them yet. Now, this is a company that I tell you, don't buy from them. You know? I'm trying to save people. In this case, I'm trying to save you and your house and your car from burning down. And they don't even know why. You can't make this stuff up. You know, it's at that level that they wonder. I wonder why the company's still in existence myself, you know. But I guess the elephant in the room can bash down a lot of China parts and knock the windows and doors out before the building actually does fall down. Well, if you don't know about it, GM's having a problem with their 6.2-liter V8 engines. And I was watching a video where they showed a brand new Cadillac Escalade that had the 6.2-liter V8 engine, and it failed after 4 miles of driving it. The piston rod had snapped right off. You got your piston rod, and then the crankshaft. And the piston rod snapped right off about this far below the piston. This could possibly affect 400,000 GM V8 engines, right? And here's the problem. Many of these engines are new like this, or they're new enough they're still under warranty. The customers that own the cars are at the mercy of a dried up replacement pipeline. They ran dry of engines months ago. So the owners and the dealers are fighting over complete motors that they can find anywhere, and the GM customers are being told, well, if you get a 2025 model, you have a, quote, new engine assembly and shouldn't be susceptible to the same issue. Shouldn't be? Well, I should hope so. You know, here's what Rick Hunter says about his. I had one of these in my 2022 Yukon Denali. Spun 2 main bearings, blew up at 18,000 miles. After they put it together, 7 months later, the vehicle had eaten 8 batteries and had 9 computers replaced. Rear-view cameras died, trim had come loose. The immobilizer fails, and right now it's in the shop because the passenger front seat belt fell apart. Vehicle is a $100,000 piece of absolute garbage. GMC, never again. This is why I warn people not to buy these things. It's interesting, the feds, the NHTSA is looking at it, but hey, GM's got some power. I'm sure they got people in Washington, D.C., and you know, they're going to fight it tooth and nail. Because if they had to replace 400,000 engines, hey, that might even bankrupt them. Who knows, right? That's why I tell you, stay away from these things. Don't listen to their stuff. They're saying, well, the new ones, they shouldn't have that problem. They say, who knows? Maybe they will. I wouldn't pay that kind of money for a vehicle that could possibly have things like that going wrong because of their bad quality control in building them. And these are V8 engines. This isn't new technology. They've been making V8 engines for well over 100 years. You'd think they'd get it down pat, but they're just cutting their quality so low these things happen. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.